What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Cozy here, coming to you from our locals here in Las Vegas. And for this deck tech today, we are bringing out your boy Yellow Blue Portgas.D.Ace from starter deck 13. And I gotta tell you, we did end up going XO with the 3 rounds we ran today, and it was a killer matchup for us the entire tournament. We started with round 1 going against Hody Jones, and then rounds 2 and 3 we ended up playing into Enel both times, both with 2 different unique builds. But I gotta tell you, this deck itself is killer into the tempo. It's very aggressive, and we ended up playing everything out. We got the wins, and more importantly, we got our winner card, which is the lovely winner Shirahoshi. And so if you like deck techs like this where we see the winning deck lists, please let me know that you like this content by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and ringing that notification bell, and I will be more than happy to make more content like this for the future. So, Portgas.D.Ace, what exactly does he do? Well, essentially what he does is you will place 2 Dawn under him, and it will allow you to look at the top 5 cards of your deck to find a 5-cost character to place at the top of your life. And essentially what you want to do is cheat out those characters from life into play. If you don't, at the end of your turn, that character that's face up in your life and any other face up life cards you have go to trash. So we want to look at this deck in its entirety. The first thing we're going to look at is the 3 Brothers package. So we will move Mr. Ace down here in the middle. And so essentially what we start with is the crux of this deck. We rely on him a lot. It is your boy, 4 copies of Kid Portgas.D.Ace from starter deck 13. He is going to allow us to find all 4 of our copies of Adult Ace for 5 cost. He is our main rusher in the deck, and he is usually your game ender, especially as we get into those later and grindy matchups like Enel, like Katakuri, and even in some cases where you just really want to push to win, such as in Yellow Black Luffy, or into some slower paced matchups like Nami, or into other blue leaders. Next up, we run 4 copies of baby Monkey.D.Luffy, who is going to help us find all 4 copies of our adult Monkey.D.Luffy, who is critical in 1, helping us cycle our hand by trashing the top card of our life to draw 1 card. That is going to help us maintain a hand advantage as we go into later turns, especially when we hit the 10 Dawn turn. We can start filtering out our life to either find the ace, to find the blockers that we have in the deck. Basically, the Luffy will help us fix things, and he becomes an 8k body, which is absolutely insane to have in a deck like this. And lastly, for the final brother, we do run 2 copies of Sabo and the adult Sabo. I feel in this type of deck, it is not a critical thing to have all of the brothers in play, but more importantly, it is important to note that Sabo is another target for us to find and another opportunity for our leader to go to 7k. Now that we have our brother package taken care of, what's the general theme of what we need to do here? Well, first we need to find the 3 brother package. So we run 4 copies of Monkey.D.Garp. This is going to help us filter down that deck to really find the ability to find, hopefully, the kids. Ideally, with Garp, you want to find your Kid Luffy, Kid Ace, and Kid Sabo in order to really drive home the fact that you can play the 5 costs either on that same turn, or you're setting yourself up with the deck manipulation cards we run in here to find essentially the next 5 costs you want to play and have the kid in hand ready to prepare. For another target that we do have, we do run 4 copies of Satori. He is just a 5 cost 2k counter, so if we are able to find him, we can utilize him to either add a card back into our hand through the life manipulation cards we run, or we use the Luffy skill to trash him for free to draw another card to get the hand advantage. or we can see him in our life and we get another 2k. Which brings us to the next part of the deck, which is our life manipulation and life recursion tactics. So in order to do so, we are going to be running 3 copies of Makino from Starter Deck 13. This card is actually really, really good when it comes to the late game plays as well as the early game. Mid game, not as much, so it does become a really good 2k counter in the mid game. But when you're running low on resources, Makino is going to allow you to add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life, and then you get to look at all of your life and then place them back in an order, which means if you see these 5 costs in your life already, you can manipulate the life to really start utilizing the kids to really, really succeed on making your leader swing for 9k that following turn or that turn itself, and gives you a little bit of cushion being a 7k leader. Next, we run the 2-cost Sanji. We run 4 of them. Again, it's a very good 2k counter in the mid game and even into the late game. Ideally, we want to see this card early, so that way we can really push for a higher life total to again cycle our hand and cycle our life, because what the Sanji ideal play is, you go second, play 2 Dawn, you play Sanji. On our 4 Dawn turn, we're going to use leader skill to grab a 5k as an example. Use the other 2 Dawn to swing in with Sanji, which is going to allow us to get the 5 cost that we don't necessarily have any way to pull out of life, and then add a card to the top of our life face down. So essentially on our 4 Dawn turn, if we go second, we are becoming a 5 life leader, and that gives us a little bit more cushion to play with as we progress later on in the matchup. The second to last card we use for life manipulation is the 5-cost Yamato. For her, she is a very solid 2k as well. Another target for Ace to find and put on top of our life and find some way to manipulate it to either add it to our hand or use it for the Luffy skill. Essentially with the Yamato, it does become a solid rusher as an option, as a backup plan in case we can't get the aces out. But again, it requires a little bit more investment when it comes to utilizing her because she is a 4k rusher compared to the ace as a 7. And then lastly, for our life manipulation, we do run 2 of the Whitebeards from Starter Deck 13. Essentially with him, he's going to allow you to take the top card of your life, or of your deck, put it to your life, and then you get to look at all of your life cards, put 1 back on top of your deck, and reorganize them again, so that way again you can set up for your triggers for 5 cost, you can set up your triggers for some of the blue package that we run in here, and really set yourself up for the next turn or 2 as we progress again into the later game, because we do not want to be tempoed out when it comes to more aggressive decks like the Sabo, like the Monkey.D.Luffy, like the Red Zoro, and a lot of these other more mid-range to aggro tempo matchups. We can at least set our life up to be successful. And lastly, we move on to the blue package that we have. I want to start with our deck manipulation plan, which is going to consist of 2 ultis, who's going to allow us to look at the top 3 cards of our deck, grab one of them and not show our opponent what it is because we do not have to, and then put the other 2 cards either on top or bottom in any order. Again, this is going to help us set up for the ace play next turn, or even that turn if we're like on the 8 Dawn curve, or we wait until the 10 Dawn to activate the ulti, so that way we can either grab a kid and then put the 5 cost on top, or we can just put both cards on the bottom and let our leader look through 5 more cards. Another target that we have for Ace in the deck manipulation package is 3 of the X.Drakes. When it comes to the X.Drake, it's going to allow you to look at the top 5 cards of your deck and put them in the top or bottom in any order. So we do get another filter, so that way we can set up either the next turn or the turn after that to really utilize the Ace skill and get us to a 7k leader. But it is also a solid 6k blocker in of himself, which is going to give us essentially another life to really hold on to and avoid being out aggroed or tempoed out into those later game matchups. Looking at the 2 ofs that we run in the deck, We do run 2 Sanji's Pilaf, again for the excellent trigger to draw 2 cards. Or if we're running low on resources and we have this card in hand, we can save 3 Dawn at the end of the turn, and then play Pilaf to draw 2 more cards, hopefully into the 2Ks that we run. We do run 13 2Ks in this list, so the odds of finding one is extremely high. And in every single player's Bane of Existence when they played blue, we run 2 Puddings. Pudding is going to kill us when it comes to hand advantage, because if we have somebody that is running 7, 8, 9 cards in hand, we can just putting them down to 5, and then we can continue swinging into their leader or even into their board that they can no longer protect as well as they originally had planned. And then lastly, for the tech that I have, this is for me personally. I do this because of the 8-drop Kid, because there is no way to go around the 8-drop Kid, the 8-drop Katakuri, the 10-drop Big Mom, and all these big faces in this type of deck other than just powering over them. We're going to run 2 Gum-Gum Red Roc. This card itself is going to bottom deck anything, and them hands are rated E for everyone. I gotta tell you, Red Roc comes in clutch, especially when they are running low on resources themselves, low on life, and they put up a blocker to make sure they protect themselves. Well, the Red Roc is going to get rid of them, and then we can continue moving forward and swinging in. So essentially, this is the entire list. I will go ahead and put this in the description below as well, just so you guys can get a better look at it. If you guys enjoyed this deck tech, please again let me know in the comments down below. If you want to see more deck techs like this, especially in the local scene here in Las Vegas, let me know in the comments as well. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys in the next upload. Peace and love, y'all. Take care.